Crafters, Raquel here with Paints and Glitter. Today I am super excited to share with you how to assemble the Remarkably retro gift box and controller. As you can see here, these are so absolutely darling, super duper fun, and this video is going to feature how to assemble this particular box right here. As you can see, there's so much detail, some really fun layers that you can add to these. And I'm also going to share with you how to make this little controller gift box. I think it's just darling. And I think these are going to be super popular, lots of fun for parties, whether it be for children or adults who are of the generation that got to enjoy these types of games. I know there are a lot of people that are super big fans of this sort of thing. I just happen to think it's a lot of fun. As a mom of boys, of course, I could not resist just having a play with these. And you're going to see, of course, the final photos of this one in particular, but this was done, of course, with papers from Tonic Studios. So I will have little photos inserted of the items used, and I'll be narrating the tutorial just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to follow along, and it'll be a little bit sped up too. But I did absolutely enjoy working with these. I think they're absolutely amazing. Just so much fun. Anyway, I do hope that you enjoy this video tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comments below. To begin this tutorial, the first thing that I'm going to show you here are the pieces that you will need. For this, you'll need 2 of the largest pieces in the die and also 2 of the smaller control pieces here. So you can tell there's a slight difference there. Then you're going to notice for the side pieces, there are 2 that have a sharp edge. Those are going to be for the lid, which is why I labeled them with an L. The other one has a beveled edge, and those are going to be the smaller ones. So I put a little S there on the tabs just to show you that they're for the base. You also have a little center panel for the bottom, a bridge panel for the top, and a latch panel for the bottom of the box. So you'll use those dies with their layers. And you're going to also have that little back panel, as well as a little button, and the die that creates the little controller buttons. And those, of course, you can cut out of several different types of paper, but you can use different layers for the lid. And for the little sentiment game on, you can use that solid rectangle. For the shiny papers, and if you want to do as I have, you can use that center panel to cut out that sentiment. And then there are strips, so you can either cut a solid layer or you can use that lattice layer, and as I've done there, you can layer it as many times as you like to get the effect you like. And there's also a thinner one, so it's all dependent on your personal taste on how you want to decorate this. We're going to begin with the bottom part of this box. So using the 2 strips that you would have cut out of your cardstock, and I do recommend the smooth cardstock, you first want to burnish that paper and get it used to folding. So once you've adhered it end to end, and you only need 2, of course, you're going to fold over all of those little teeth portions, and you want to start adhering this on that smooth edge and apply it at the curve. So where that curve for that remote control or game controller, whatever you want to call it, starts, that's where you want to apply this. Now, I made this a little bit harder for myself than I needed to. You honestly can place this underneath and not on top. I don't know why I chose to do it this way, but you're going to see that I then have to kind of come back and readjust it a little bit. But you're essentially just applying this all around the edge of that paper. Just walk it along gingerly and make sure you do follow the curve line. And this is where I noticed that, okay, I can go ahead and finish this and place that last little tab at the end, but I wanted it a little bit closer to the edge, and that's why I lifted up that paper before it was fully adhered and adjusted it just a tiny bit. And I know this is probably not visible to anyone else, but you'll see how I make the lid, and it'll make more sense once you see that. But you're essentially just walking all of that along the edge of that paper, making sure that now there's a space there. And that's why we would have started where the controller starts to bend there. So here is the little bridge panel, and this has a tab at the bottom that you see there that's going to go right on the base, and then a tab on the side. So you would hear those two first. That's going to help you kind of bridge the gap, if you will. So it's aptly named the bridge panel. So you're going to adhere it to the right hand side. Make sure you're holding this as it dries so you get a nice angle there. And then lastly, adhere the other side with the tab that was already there. And of course you want to cover up all of those little tiny tabs, so you can take a second little controller portion of the same size and go ahead and layer that. I did go ahead and cut it one more time out of yellow cardstock, and then I just cut away about a 1/16 of an inch around the perimeter and layered it inside. But let's move on to the lid. You're going to be using your 2 strips that you would have cut out with the larger one, which is again the one with the sharper edge at the end. You're going to move away your double-sided adhesive if you're using it. Take away the backing and then just start walking this along the edge. And if you're curious as to the adhesive I've used, it is from Craft Perfect. It's a 1/4 inch wide, and it is double-sided adhesive that is absolutely very strong. I highly recommend it. It is from Tonic Studios, and I like to double it up with the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive when creating 3D crafts because it makes it a whole lot faster for me, and I really do recommend it. So again, you're walking these all along the perimeter of that largest die cut, and here you're going to see that I first join the very end and then I walk my way back along that curve. So that's definitely another way that you can approach this, and this was a whole lot easier. So if you want to do this for both of them, I don't think it'll be a bad idea. So here we're going to use our latch panel, and this is going to help bridge the gap for the actual lid. And you're going to see it's a little bit different. You can go ahead and decorate it if you'd like to, but this is going to adhere in very much the same way with that little flat edge facing the lid, and then the little tab on the side will connect with that long strip. So here you see I fixed it because I had adhered this a little bit differently, but it's the same thing. You're just bridging that gap, so that way this controller will have the actual shape of a real controller here, and then adhere your little tabs accordingly and hold them until they dry. I always say this, I know my videos are sped up, but I definitely do hold that paper together. Once that's dry, you can take your second controller die cut of the largest size, cover up all of those unfinished little edges, and I highly recommend that you also use your paper creaser to apply pressure to that. And now it's fun time. You can decorate this however you like. I've taken another 2 panels here. I die cut them using the same size dies, which was the largest first and then the smaller one. Using papers from my stash, I did use chili red cardstock from Tonic Studios for that nice vibrant red. And then this third panel, which you can cut out any way you like. Of course, I went ahead and cut it out of this metallic card, and then followed that up with the Game On, which I had cut again with 3 different colors. So there is some glitter gold behind that blue. And then here for the little buttons, I did use 2mm wide dimensional adhesive from Tonic Studios. So I did use that behind all of those little buttons. And I have a disclaimer, the little Y and the B and, well, the letter A is the only one that's in the correct placement there. So you can Google that. And in any case, use all the colors, make it fun. Make sure that you also take advantage of those strips to adhere to the outer edge of this box. It makes it look absolutely fabulous. And the one pointer that I'll give you there, because I did have to fix mine, is to make sure that the curved portion of that strip faces the back of this controller lid. So you're going to notice there, those two portions there should be the curved edges. And now you can go ahead and adhere the back panel. This is going to create a nice sturdy finish. I did adhere mine, not only was it a layer of that silver card, but there's also white cardstock behind it. And lastly, these two little buttons, which I also adhered with dimensional adhesive, as you can tell there, and makes a really cool controller. I decorated the inside of that bottom of the box, and here is the little latch for the bottom. You want to make sure that you only adhere the perimeter of that paper, and this is going to help you close your little gift box. And by the way, this does measure 5 3/8 inches wide by 2.5 inches wide from the other direction, if you will. And now this is going to help you close this and add whatever goodies you want to inside. And this completes the assembly of the controller, and we can move on to the next tutorial. To begin assembling this box, you're going to be cutting out singular pieces of the card that you see here. And I've gone with smooth, heavyweight 300 GSM card from Tonic Studios. The hinges you will want to cut out 4 times. And then this large square that's included, you'll want to cut out 5 times. And as you see there, I do have 4 of them, which I'll be decorating, along with the side panels. And then I'm going to decorate these before I begin the assembly. So I'm going to point out to you here the panels that you see there. I did use glitter card along with fuchsia cardstock and also a blue cardstock. And for this square panel in particular, you can use the dies included to create what will look like the monitor of your arcade game. And there's also the little console. I recommend you not add the console yet, even though you're going to see that I did, and I'll show you a little later why. But once you have your little panels adhered, you're going to take what will be the back of this box. It has 3 separate tabs. You're going to want to make sure that you fold them as a mountain fold and burnish them. You're going to do the same with all of the tabs that run along that long strip of card. And I think I already mentioned, but I did use 300 GSM cardstock, so I could have a nice heavy weight box. And then the hinges that you see here, or the tabs, you're going to want to fold as a mountain fold primarily. Then when you get to that portion that has the little monitor, you're going to fold those 2 as a valley fold. And then from there on out, if you'd like to, you can fold those also as mountain folds. So there you see there are only 2 valley folds in that entire strip. Then you're going to take that long strip and adhere it to this rectangular panel. First, you can add this here to that shortest tab. Make sure you burnish that, and then go ahead and grab the 2 side pieces of your arcade game and adhere them with that smooth edge facing the same smooth edge of the back of the box. So this is a super easy assembly, and I do recommend that you go ahead and take advantage of all the fun colors of papers that you can from Tonic Studios to make this a really fun and vibrant little gift box. So here I'm going to call this tab number 1. You're going to start by placing adhesive on these tabs, and I do recommend that you work on both sides at the same time because of the fact that they're both going to have to face the same angles. I think that's going to be the easiest and fastest way to go about assembling this box. You're going to see that there's a lot of back and forth that you want to make sure you pay attention to just because of the angles, but my recommendation is that you place that paper as close to that edge as you can. So tab number 2 is the next one. It's at a slight angle from the first one. So I also recommend that you hold on to the paper until it dries before you proceed to the next tab when you're adhering these. But then tab number 3, as you see there, is perpendicular to the other one. So I do take a damp paper towel, by the way, and I clean off any excessive little adhesive bits here because I'm using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, which does dry clear, but I want a nice clean finish. Now, skip tab number 4, sorry, skip number 4 and move on to tab number 5. That's going to be the longest one, and you can add adhesive to the 4th tab, but what you don't want to do is to try to adhere it to the edge. What you want to do is push that paper in, as you see me doing here, and make sure that you position this so that that portion that has what looks like the monitor to the game is actually lined up perfectly, and then go ahead and burnish that. And that way it will position this perfectly. And I'm going to show you what I did here. I cut out some little triangles, and this is going to point out to you that there is a space there. So that way you see that that 4th tab should not be adhered to the edge. Then moving along to tab number 6, that's where the console is placed. Go ahead and add adhesive there, and then hold that onto the edges of that little box until that dries. And this is coming along really nicely now. Tab number 7 is the next one. That folds down. And again, meeting the edge of the box. So you're walking this whole strip of paper down. And the next one is actually going to fold in now, because this is going to form that little kind of edge there where the game, if you remember these games, if you're of that generation, then you know what I'm talking about. This looks very realistic. And then lastly, the very last tab, I think it's the 8th one, if I'm not mistaken, that has a slight angle to it, okay? So be sure to hold on to that paper while it's drying. And then as I'm doing there, just clean off any little bits of adhesive. So for the front of this box, you can add the decorative portion, as you see here, that you can layer, because you can cut it out of more than one color, or just use some pretty funky colors of papers that you may already own. And here is why I wish I had not added the console just yet. This is the little stick that you would have used to play the game back in the day. So you're going to cut out 2 of them. I did use metallic cardstock from Tonic Studios. You're going to face them back to back and adhere that top portion one to the other. Once that's dry, that little portion at the bottom actually folds outward. And that goes right in the middle there where the little circle cutout is. However, I should have placed that little panel on top of that little joystick. And you'll see here, what I did is that because I wasn't happy with that finish, I went ahead and cut this out again. I used the 2 dies included. The one cuts out the console, and the other one, that little portion in the center that you can cut out separately, but I use both of them together. I cut out this silver cardstock, and this is what I'm going to place right on top, and it's going to give me a better finish. So that's just going to go right on top there. But that's how you would have placed it initially, but with that little pogo stick kind of underneath it, if that makes sense. But there's always a fix to everything, as I say on this channel. So there's that finished look to that console. I think it's so cool. You can tell there you can use all of the different colors of mirror card that you have. And now moving on to what will be the base of this box, take your plain square that you would have cut out of the smooth cardstock and add all of those little hinges with the fold line facing the edge. You're going to do this 4 times. So all 4 of those hinges will be useful to you because you're all going to adhere every single one of them the same way. Again, with that fold line facing the outer edge. And you can flip this over and make sure you have that correctly positioned. And as you can tell, I'm using the deluxe adhesive. It's going to give a really nice hold to all of this very strong paper. And it's going to be really nice and sturdy when it's all put together. Now on the opposite side of these hinges, you're going to place the 4 squares that you would have cut out and decorated. So there you see me flipping that over, so that way you can see this is why I went ahead and decorated them ahead of time, but you can definitely decorate all of these panels once the base is assembled. It's really up to you. I just took my time because if you know anything about this channel, then you know how fiddly I am about detail, and I wanted to get that out of the way. So here are the other hinges. You're going to be folding these, and I'm going to say that these look like the letter B. So you want the belly of the B facing the outer edge of the square. And you're going to repeat this 4 times around. So placing those hinges so that that wider part of this hinge faces, again, the outer edge of the square. And once you have all 4 of those, sorry, the bilingual mouth, it's hard to say that. Once you have all 4 of those tabs adhered to your squares, join your adjacent square to that tab, and this is going to help create the base of this box. So now you see that it looks like a letter P instead of a B. I'm a visual learner, so this is how I also teach, and this is how I can tell you that I remember these different little bits of tutorials. So get all of those adhered. You're going to have this fantastic little cube, which all on its own, by the way, would be wonderful for a little birthday party and just filled with candies. But hey, we're making an awesome arcade, or remarkable arcade here. So there's our retro box completed because it fits right in there with that little tab. And now you can have fun decorating. So the phrases in this kit include let's play, well played, zap. There's the little monsters here, which I find to be so funny. Oh my gosh. There's a little rocket. There's kapow. And there's a boom, and this big portion here, which I know there's a name for that, but it looks like, you know, just awesomeness. I'm forgetting the word, so I apologize, but I went ahead and adhered these with foam adhesive and also with the tissue tape that Tonic Studios has available. It's really nice and strong, so I highly recommend it. But I wanted to make sure that the little rocket ship was kind of flying off the top here. I folded a piece of acetate, placed red line adhesive on one end and on the other, and now I can go ahead and place that little rocket right on top of this little arcade game. Super easy, if you see there. And then to kind of hide the bit of acetate, you can definitely add more. But there it is, completed. This was so much fun to make. Again, if you're of this generation, then you know that these just bring back happy memories of just playing and competing with your friends and trying to win and, you know, saving quarters so that you could go to the arcade game. So let me know what you think. This was so much fun to share with you today. I hope that you can always be inspired and be blessed. If you're new to this channel, I invite you to subscribe and come back for more tutorials. Always leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. What was your favorite game growing up? Did you ever play an arcade game? I want to know, okay? So come back for my next video, and I hope to see you real soon. Be inspired and be blessed.